anytime you're oversold on the stochastic RSI, right, we tend to see a rally of varying degrees. What is going on, crypto peeps? Welcome back to the Traveling Crypto. Let us get right into it. So as you can see, Coinbase adds more cryptos and specifically more Ethereum based cryptos to their portfolio. We have Golem, Maker, Zilliqa, and Dai, or Day, depending on how you pronounce it. Now, this is great for boosting market sentiment and morale, obviously in a really low period in terms of market cap, as well as sentiment, and frankly, low interest really in the market. And obviously, you can measure that a number of different ways, volume being one of them. But, you know, with interest at a 2018 low in the crypto market, any good positive sentiment or good news can really give the market a little bit of a boost, in this case in the form of 25%. If you recall the video that I did a few days ago, the market cap was at 100 billion. Now it's at 125 billion. So a quarter of a 25%, sorry, gained in terms of market cap. Now there doesn't seem to be any real way of identifying which cryptos Coinbase is going to add to their list of tradable assets. However, I do think that Coinbase will eventually be adding, you know, a whole host of cryptocurrencies, much in the same way that a Binance or Bitfinex has, and that is because it needs to stay competitive. You know, Coinbase was seen really as an entry-level way of buying your first Bitcoin or your first Ethereum, but with the interest in the crypto market waning, it probably figures that it needs to update its business model a little bit and add more cryptos to their market, as well as adding new features such as crypto-to-crypto trading, which you'll see here. Sorry, not there, but here. Coinbase adds crypto-to-crypto trading for retail customers, and it will continue to add more features as we move along. Here, you'll see that Coinbase adds cash withdrawals to PayPal. This is part of their 12 Days of Coinbase initiative, which obviously is in line with the Christmas spirit, 12 Days of Christmas, where they are going to be rolling out new features as well as adding new coins to their holdings or to their listings over the period of December. So we do expect Coinbase to now start adding more coins, especially through December. There are rumors that they might add XRP, XLM, EOS, potentially NEO. Again, there really isn't, unless you know of any sort of, you know, insider information, there really isn't any way of projecting which coins it will add. I do think they will eventually add XRP. And if you recall earlier in the year, they did add XRP to their Coinbase custody platform. And I do think that they are sort of timing this 12 Days of Coinbase strategically, again, because we are in a period of low volume. You know, any good news will potentially boost the market a bit. And, you know, I mean, take it for what you will. A lot of people are saying that that's nefarious because they're, you know, trying to control the market or give the market a boost. But how can you really complain about that when what they're doing is legal, and also they're trying to project positivity into the market? And hopefully that will carry on into the next year, where we might see a Bitcoin ETF, as well as the backed platform and a few other Main Street derivatives based off of Bitcoin as an asset class. And then don't forget adoption as well, right? Like, a lot of people tend to forget that adoption is a big portion of this. We will most likely see some cryptos die off while others get adopted into the mainstream as well. So it's not just about Bitcoin and Bitcoin derivatives on Wall Street. All right, looking at the cryptocurrency market, we are at 2,072 cryptos. Again, market cap 125 bill. Bitcoin dominance still teeters between, you know, 53 and 55%. You'll see here most of the cryptos in USD value are green, leading some to ask the question, have we hit a bottom? It's very hard to time a market bottom, but there are definitely opportune times to buy. If you're a long-term investor, yes, you can continue to scale in during market crashes. Now, I hope people don't get deluded by this, because, yeah, this is really the first sea of green or major sea of green that we've seen in a while. Market cap is still at 125 bill. I mean, that's abysmal. If 2 months ago, you know, I would have told you that you would rejoice at $125 billion market cap. You would have thought that I was crazy. So while it is a win, it's a small win, and we are still in a bear market. We're still in a market crash, and a lot of major hurdles have to be crossed in order for us to see a full reversal. So with that said, let us take a look at Bitcoin long term here. This is Bitcoin on the monthly chart. You'll see this yellow here is the 21-month moving average for Bitcoin. We have fallen below that. We've done that before, obviously back in 2015, and then late 2015, our cross back over the 21-month EMA is what led to this major bull run. We are majorly oversold on the Stochastic RSI, and again, the last time that this happened coincided with that cross over the 21-month EMA, leading us into that bull run. So with these conditions being similar, obviously the extent of the market is unknown, right? Like nobody knows how long this period below the 21-month EMA could last, but we certainly need to get an injection of volume to start seeing a reversal. Like if you see here, this, coming off of the 2014-15 bear market, you'll see that interest started waning. There was pretty high sell volume and then waning volume, little interest. And then all of a sudden we started getting these green injection candles or volume injection candles into the market. And that put us over the hump of the 21-month EMA and got us out of the oversold conditions on the Stochastic RSI. So volume is very important. Keep a watchful eye on this. But as I said before, and if you follow me on the Discord and if you follow the trade alerts, sign up. Link is in the description if you want access to the trade alerts. I'll go over that in a second. But yeah, I've said you can start scaling into Bitcoin already back, when we were around 3,300, 3,400, 3,200. You could start scaling around there. Like trying to catch the absolute bottom is a very futile effort, and you will come out losing 9 out of 10 times or even more. So let us take a look at BTC on the weekly chart. A few things to note here. Again, the Stochastic RSI. Now, this I found very interesting, right? And this is definitely my own analysis. I haven't seen anybody else do this, but anytime you're oversold on the Stochastic RSI, right, we tend to see a rally of varying degrees. So we can go all the way back to, if you want, all the way back to 2015. You'll see here September 2015 oversold on the Stochastic RSI. By the time that we were, in overbought conditions on the Stochastic RSI, this was a 107% rally on Bitcoin. Again here, oversold on the Stochastic RSI. By the time we were in the overbought section of the Stochastic RSI, 118% or so rally. We can continue doing this on and on for the rest of the times that we were oversold on the Stochastic RSI. And I'll just, for good measure, continue to do this for these remaining periods so you can see the varying degrees at which we've rallied every time we've crossed to the oversold marker on the Stochastic RSI. Now here we hit the oversold measure on the Stochastic RSI and hit it again. But eventually from, oversold conditions to overbought conditions, you'll see a rally of 223%. Again, we'll continue to do this here. So I don't want to give the false sense that just because we hit oversold, we're going to hit overbought right after. It could take quite a while, and we could linger in the oversold territory for quite a while. But again, if you're long-term holding, that is probably the easiest way to trade this at the moment. Interestingly enough, in this back in June 2018, we did not see an overbought condition on the Stochastic RSI, but we did see a rally nonetheless. So 50% here, 50% here, and we are now again oversold on the Stochastic RSI. And if we just, take a conservative measure of 50% instead of these, like 223% that we saw back here, we'll see that Bitcoin's price will end up around 47.89. So that is a pretty conservative measure of where we can end up as a rally bouncing from this oversold conditions on the Stochastic RSI. We are now also oversold on the RSI, which is a double confirmation, something we haven't seen in this previous rallies when we were oversold on the Stochastic RSI. So it is definitely, in my opinion, a good time to jump into Bitcoin for the short term as well as for the long term. One thing I will say is this right here is a measure of volatility. volatility. It's called the volatility index, I believe, in TradingView. Or sorry, it's called historical volatility in TradingView. In order for there to be a true bullish rally, like the likes of which we've seen in, you know, the end of 2017, I do believe that we need to hit all-time lows on volatility once again, in the same way that we saw here back in late 2016, because that will mark a, you know, a true period of capitulation. So you see low volume, low volatility, little interest per se, and then, you know, that will mark a period of capitulation and potentially spark the next bullish rally. So even if we do see a 50% rise here to, you know, 47.89 or so, we might eventually see a drop from there to get to all-time low periods of volatility and accompanied with low volume before we see a bullish rally, maybe 2019 to 2020. Again, nobody can determine the extent of these things. Another thing I'll say about the weekly chart, obviously we had this descending triangle confirmed by the downside break with increased volume on that downside break. And now this pattern has changed into a descending wedge. Yes, patterns obviously change over time. With more time comes more information. And it only makes sense that this pattern changes to something from a bearish to a potentially bullish pattern, because you're not going to stay bearish forever, right? This looks like more of a descending channel actually, but you're not going to stay bearish forever. So eventually the pattern will have to change to a potentially bullish pattern. And if we do break this channel, then obviously that will confirm a bullish uprise. Another reason why we might see a rally to at least, you know, the 4,800 level or so is because we are still within this channel, and Bitcoin looks now like it's respecting the support and resistance of this channel. Again, sign up to the trade alerts. Link is in the description. I will be sending out trade alerts for Bitcoin as well as other coins as well. An example we saw was with EOS. I sent a trade alert at the breakout of this ascending triangle, and we made 30% gains before finally selling at around $2.60. If you want to see the trade itself, you'll see here, this was sent last Thursday, which was the 13th. And at that time, obviously we haven't, you know, broken the triangle at all, but that ascending triangle was forming. And I was saying, watch out for the breakout of this triangle, which would confirm the bullish pattern, and we can then enter a trade at the breakout of this triangle. So if you want access to those trade alerts, link is in the description. All right, getting back to Bitcoin real quick, just a couple more time frames I want to look at. Here's the 1 day. We see a descending wedge, a breakout from there with bullish volume. We're finding resistance at the 0.236 fib level. There will probably be resistance at around the 4,000, which is a psychological barrier, and then 4,400 at the 0.382 level where we saw resistance before. And here you'll see at the 0.5 level is around 4,800, that period that level that I was talking about on the 1 week period. Looking at the 2 hour for Bitcoin, you see that we are forming a rounding bottom here. We're finding resistance at around the 0.236 fib level, which is also the resistance of that rounding bottom. We might form somewhat of a cup and handle, and if volume continues to come in, we will see a break here. But you want to be looking at the shorter time frames if you're playing swings or trade alerts on BitMEX, for instance, right? Leverage trades to take advantage of those short-term swings. Looking at XRP, you'll see that XRP is also forming, a lot of these top cryptos you'll see forming similar patterns on the shorter time frames, right? Like on the 4 hour or 2 hour, you'll see this rounding bottom forming as well. We did send out a trade alert for XRP back on the 4th of December. I was buying XRP for the long term. Again, I do believe that it will eventually get listed on Coinbase. That is my belief. Take it for what it is. That's not based on any sort of insider information or insider knowledge. Do your own research. But yeah, XRP is forming this similar rounding bottom pattern, finding resistance at around the 0.786 fib level. Again, we might be forming a cup and handle before a breakout. And again, pay attention to the volume. That is how you will know whether the pattern is likely to be confirmed or disconfirmed, right? Lastly, I'll take a look at Ethereum. You'll see Ethereum has rallied a little bit. We're now back over $100. The volume looks really decent on Ethereum. This is on the 1 day, crossing the moving average for the volume several times. I do think Ethereum has room to grow and will likely see resistance at around $114 and potentially at around $135 if the rally continues. Now, obviously the rally can, come to a screeching halt and we could see a drop back down close to $100 billion market cap. Again, volume will be your number one indicator for whether these patterns will likely continue or whether we'll see a drop in price. But if Coinbase continues to add coins throughout December, I do think that we will see a strong ending of 2018. And I don't mean obviously 20,000. Like I said, I do expect a run up of Bitcoin if it does end up continuing upwards to around 4,800. Please set your stop limits appropriately. And if you want to see those trade alerts, sign up. Link is in the description. Subscribe if you got anything out of this video. Hit that notification bell. Leave a thumbs up. Comment if you have a question or an agreement or a disagreement. Stay safe out there. Peace.